Hey, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. Today's conversation is with 2000 graduate Adam Heder. I loved it. So good to connect with him and hear his story, hear his love for being a South Salem Saxon, and also sharing about life since graduation, all that he's had going on. I also would encourage you, if you're interested at all in helping out current South Salem students, please go to the Saxon Success Fund website, saxonsuccessfund.org. Find a way to donate. Any dollar amount counts, but we are in the scholarship season with our current students, and we'd love to share as much financial resources with them as possible as they head out and head into the world. Enjoy this convo with Adam, and hope you all are doing well. Go Saxons.
My name is Adam Heder. I am a Saxon. I graduated the year 2000.
0, 1, 2, 3. Let's get started.
Is a 2000 graduate and says he absolutely loved his time as a Saxon. During his years here, he was on the mock trial team, he acted in a play, wrestled, ran cross country, played football, and he even participated in the German-American Partnership Program during his sophomore year. I want to hear about that. And since graduating, Adam served a 2-year mission in Korea through his church. He worked for the Scottish Parliament, worked in Silicon Valley, clerked for a federal appellate how do I say that? Appellate? Appellate, yes,
Appellate
there we
Judge,
go.
yeah.
My family of lawyers is all going to be very disappointed in me right now. But he's a published author. He now loves his job as a trial attorney in Portland. Adam's married and the father to 5 children. Adam, welcome to the show. Welcome to your time in the spotlight. We're so pumped to have you. You and I have had this texting relationship for probably the last, 6 years or so on the Rip City Duck thread. So shout out to everybody on there. Yeah, pumped to get to know you. Welcome.
Yeah, thank you so much, Ryan.
Glad to have you on here. I've heard lots about you and lots about your family. I can't wait to hear more. Maybe start with your time as a Saxon and growing up. Did you grow up in Salem?
Born and raised. Born and raised. I was the 5th of 6 South Salem graduates. 4 before me and 1 after. And I have nothing but positive memories of my time at SSHS.
Yes. And before South, what schools did you go to? Elementary, middle?
I went to Chapman Hill Elementary in West Salem and Walker Middle School in West Salem. And like all the rest of us Walker students, we had to choose between going to North or South. And I, like so many of my other wise classmates, chose South and never regretted it.
It sounds like you had quite a legacy here. You've been recommended for this spotlight by many, including some of our favorite Saxons. Tell us about your 4 years. What were you involved in other than what I shared, or what are your memories from what I read in your bio?
So many great memories, just so many good friends, so many fun memories going to sporting events, going to school government. I ran cross country, so got to know the people there. And then I also got to wrestle and play football, got to know the people there. My senior year, I went out for a play, Bridge Over Brooklyn, Arthur Miller. So I got to know the folks there. Just so many great things. We had my senior year, there was a group of us that organized a trip to England to visit our sister school. So it turned out we kind of blew the dust off some old books and found out that we had a sister school in Bradford, England. So they came over for a short while and we went over there. There was about 5 of us, myself, Malia Mossman, Scott Anderson, Kristen Moore. I think I've got it all. And just had a great time doing that. The summer between sophomore and junior year, I got to participate in the GAP, German-American Partnership Program, where we spent the summer living in Germany. And then the Germans came and lived with us during the school year. So they attended school with us. We attended school with them. Student government, I was the chairman of the Spirit Committee, something along those lines. That was fun. We got organized. We did a senior year, we organized, instead of doing the typical King of Hearts dance, that was the winter dance that we usually did.
Yeah.
We went a different direction and called it the Pharaoh of Hearts and made it Egyptian themed. And that was pretty fun. Um, Senior year, another really fun memory, Mr. Lampert, who I've heard teaches at West Salem High School now, but at the time he was at South. There was a group of us that we got to be on the, I believe we called it the high five team. So what this meant was back in the day, this was when there was still, Saturday morning shows, Saturday morning cartoons. There was a game show that ran Saturday mornings called High Five, and it was high schools across the state competing with each other. And it was Jeopardy. It was just trivia. So we did that, and we totally bombed. We were super confident going in, and then just totally bombed. So super disappointing, but still just an absolute ton of fun. Yeah, I've just got nothing but really great memories.
Well, yeah, that's a lot that you were involved in. What was it? Was that something that was important to your family, just to be super involved in things? Is something that's ingrained in you? What was it that led you into all these different interest areas?
I mean, I'm not particularly great at any one thing. I'm not a very good athlete. I was a decent student, I guess, but um, not particularly great at any one thing. And it was just fun to be at a school where those opportunities were there for the picking. I just remember, so I was real into wrestling and then decided junior year that I wanted to spend my time because wrestling kind of consumed all my time. And so I decided I wanted to try other things. So that year I went out for the mock trial team, which was just a ton of fun. And gosh, it was Mr. Day. I think that was our coach, if I'm remembering that correctly. We had a tournament. We had to show up for the state tournament up in the federal courthouse in Portland. It just, I don't know, there's just a lot of opportunities. And for those of us who are kind of try and dabble in lots of things, but aren't particularly great at any one thing, it was just kind of a dream come true.
Yeah, what was it about South that you say you absolutely love your time as the Saxons, you're involved in everything. What is it about South that, especially in your memory, that made it so special or made it such a unique spot?
Anytime we pursued one of these opportunities, it didn't really matter whether you were particularly good or had been training for that. Mock trial, I started that junior year and had a lot of fun, just did it for a year. Drama, I did that senior year. Like I hadn't been previously involved in that. And I got a good, substantial role. So I was able to and so we had, Mr. Putnam was the drama teacher. I mentioned Mr. Day a moment ago. And so we had all these faculty and teachers who they removed all the barriers to entry. It was just really easy to start up with any of these things. If you had an interest, somebody was always going to help you find a way to get it done. So that's what I would say was really fun about being at South.
Yeah, it's awesome. It's what we try to continue to create here is those opportunities, no matter how you walk into the space, that you're welcome. One, we just want students to feel like they belong. Belonging is such an indicator of how they're going to then perform in those spaces. But I appreciate you saying that because that is a core value for us as a staff here, trying to find ways to get students to be participating in a lot. So after graduation, you at that point going to college for a year and then mission, or is it, I can't remember when the things changed and you could go to your mission straight out of high school, but yeah, talk about that experience.
Yeah, I spent a year in Provo, Utah at BYU right after graduating. And then and actually I didn't even spend, that's not true. I didn't even spend a year. I only spent a semester and was real antsy. So then I spent 2 years living and working and volunteering in Korea, which was, life-changing experience, hard to sum up in a couple words, but really wonderful time, made very, very close friends. And of course, just enjoyed the totally immersive, kind of selfless experience that was. And then came back and did 3 more years, graduated in 2006 from college with a degree from BYU. And I had a degree in political science. And I had minors in German and Korean, interestingly enough. And the German, that traces right back to my time at South Salem High School. So Frau Rosemary Maurer was our teacher, and she's a legend at South. And I suspect there's a fair number more German American speakers in the world because of her and because of her program at South. So I still very much transact in German a lot because of my time with her, and it's become a hobby. I listen. My kids make fun of me because I listen to German podcasts all the time and things like that.
And then are you going straight into law school at that point?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
So I then went straight into law school at BYU as well. Graduated in 2009. I graduated, was really lucky. I did well enough in school that I was able to get a clerkship. And for those who don't know what that is, these judges are able to hire law students right out of law school for a year, generally. Sometimes some folks will maybe do it for 2 years, but generally it's about a year. And we do the judge's work. So, when you often hear about kind of like Supreme Court clerks or so, this obviously that's like a really prestigious thing, but their clerks are the ones who are doing the work. They're doing the research and the writing and all that stuff. So I was able to work for Judge Randy Smith. He's on what's called the Ninth Circuit. He was appointed by George W. Bush. And so, I mean, that was just an amazing opportunity, literally writing briefs that were cited by the Supreme Court. I mean, that sort of thing. I mean, really, really neat, really exciting, rubbing elbows with, if you're in the legal world, these are like the celebrities of the legal world,
Right.
Um, so that was really exciting. And then in between my second and third year of law school, I had spent the summer working at a law firm down in Palo Alto, Silicon Valley, and they had made me a job offer. So after I clerked, I went back there. And I was there for about 4 years, and that was brutal. It was grinding. It's everything you hear, and you watch a TV show like Suits or something. It's all of that and more. I was lucky to come home on a night before midnight. Working weekends, but there was a lot of great stuff that came out of it. Learned a lot from some of the top writers and legal thinkers in the country. I got to travel and do some really high-end work in like Switzerland and other places. So, exciting, but definitely not the sort of lifestyle I ever wanted to have long term. So in 2014, I moved back to Oregon, which had always been kind of my goal. So, yeah, I've been here ever since. And shortly after I moved to Oregon, I worked for another law firm. But shortly after I moved to Oregon, I went out and started my own practice. And so I do plaintiffs work. So I represent the folks that are doing the suing. I try and get in court as often as possible. I like being in front of a jury. I like trials, that sort of thing. And it's kind of a dream. It's kind of my dream job.
Yeah. How have you found your way into creating that life that you were looking for?
Yeah. I mean, it's a night and day difference. I mean, you can't even really compare the two experiences. I work on a totally different model now, and I'm able to, set my own hours and take the sorts of cases I want. I mean, look, if I hadn't put in the time earlier in my career, I wouldn't have been able to reap those benefits later. But it's great. I mean, I absolutely love and cherish my work-life balance now.
Yeah, family of five.
Yeah.
How is it being a parent of five? You grew up in a family of five as well, is that right? Or six?
Family of six. I was five
Yeah,
of six
with
kids.
kids.
I was fifth of six. Yeah, so 8 of us all together. And so I'm just one shy of what I grew up in. And that's awesome. I mean, we spend a lot of time together. My oldest daughter's about to graduate, and she's a full-time ballerina. I have 3 sons and 2 daughters. My second daughter is tonight we'll be heading over to see her perform in the middle school production of Oliver Twist. Um, my oldest son is a real active Boy Scout and just a fun kid, likes to ski. So we've been skiing a lot. My 2 youngest sons are still in elementary school. They're both, one plays baseball, the other really wants to get into wrestling. So he wants to take after me. But in the meantime, they both love to ski and love to boogie board. They love going in the ocean. So it doesn't matter. That's the Oregon coast. We throw on wetsuits and they love it. They all play instruments, which has been really fun.
Are you musical yourself?
No, I am not. Most of my family is, but I am not. So I grew up in a fairly musical family. I have an older brother, also a South Salem alum, who was the lead in all the musicals when he was there. I have a sister similar. She was in symphonic choir and all that stuff. I'm not particularly musical. I did choir in middle school and practiced or played piano and stuff, but I I can't do any of that. But my wife is quite musical. She's a very accomplished flute player. So my kids have all been forced to take piano, or my oldest son plays the bass.
That's great. Um, let's go back to your years at South. We always like to ask our guests four big questions, and those questions are brought to us. We get a sponsorship for this podcast. These interview series we're sponsored by the Saxon Success Fund. And for anyone who hasn't heard of the Saxon Success Fund, it's a nonprofit organization that is committed to providing scholarships to our current Saxons as they head out into the world and take on further learning beyond our South Salem walls. So if anyone is interested in learning more or donating, you can go to the saxonsuccessfund.org website, and there's a great donate button there. So Adam, today our four big questions. Number one, knowing where you are today, all that you're up to, what or who most helped you get to this point?
Gosh, that's a tough question. Two things. First, I had a handful of teachers I really loved and admired. I was very close with my math teacher, Bert Canner. He was really a neat guy. In fact, I stayed in touch with him. It's been a couple of years since I've seen him, but even in the years since high school. In fact, when I was working down in Palo Alto, he was driving through, and we met up for lunch. I've had him over for dinner. So some really neat teachers that I really grew close to over the years. And then the second thing I want to go back to what I kind of started with is just all the opportunities and how easy it was to access those. I mean, I mentioned going to England as an exchange student. I mean, we just did that. And the school was like, oh, that's a great idea. Let's facilitate that. I mean, there was no resistance. The principal was, all for it. He helped set up some school fundraisers. And before I knew it, we had a trip to England that, we had to contribute some of our own money, but we were able to use school resources to raise funds, make it happen. The German American thing, the running cross country, doing the debate team, doing drama, all these opportunities that there was just such a low barrier to entry to, which was just so fun.
Question two, what's one piece of advice, if you could go back and talk to young Saxon and Adam Heder, what's one piece of advice you would give yourself?
I just loved my high school experience so much. And so I would say, hey, you're doing a good job of having fun and dipping your toes in every single thing, and don't just do it. Don't second guess that. Just do it. And if that means, I mean, I had so much fun doing drama, doing speech, doing mock trial, doing sports. And I think I would just go back and say, yeah,
Embrace it.
Don't embrace that, lean into it. That's great. That was super fun. And don't change a thing about that.
That's great. I'm so glad that was your experience. There are so many stories that are the opposite of that. No one that graduates from South, everybody loves their time here, I'm sure. But, you just hear those stories of, like, gosh, I didn't take advantage of what I should have. And even having these conversations with our graduates that, oh, I wish I would have done this, or I wish I would have been more involved here. So I'm glad to hear that you were able to do that and it paid off. Question three. What's one thing, it's kind of a similar question, but what's one thing you've learned since graduation that you wish you knew in high school?
We all kind of have scripts in our minds of things that we're good at, things that we're not good at, things that we tell ourselves that. And the truth is, you can kind of write your own script. I was convinced I was terrible at sports, and I mean, I'm still convinced of that, but like, if you can flip that script and say, no, I'm not bad at sports. I just haven't found my sport yet I want to do. So I think there's some real power in that. And I think that's probably something I would have gone back and emphasized to myself even more.
Question four, if you could transform, I usually ask it in South Salem, but you're a parent of 5 kids. So you've seen the school system. If you could transform our school system in one way, what would you add? What would you adjust? What would you change?
Boy, that's a really tough question. Very specific answer. I'd focus more on the classics, more on the classical history, classical literature, classical mathematics. Yeah, I'd focus more on the classics, particularly literature. Some of the really great literature of the English language is not being taught, or it's being too neglected, and that's unfortunate, I think. So I think I would focus on the classics.
How has that informed you in either your daily life or even professionally?
I think this is going to be a little bit of a cop out answer, but I think it just enriches kind of everything you do. I find my writing, I write a lot as an attorney. I find my writing, I'm often using little literary references and allusions and things that I maybe learned when I was like a freshman. I mean, just the other day I was teaching some kids in Sunday school and I brought up a lesson. I mean, literally a lesson from, I believe his name was Clifford Brush, my ninth grade literature teacher, from the Odyssey. And I mean, what is that, 30 years ago now? And I
Yeah.
still remember it. I love that sort of thing. Gosh, I mean, just the way you kind of approach life, the way when I read books, when I listen to a lot of podcasts, and the stuff I find myself interested in, the stuff I find myself reading, watching, the way I talk to my kids is I always referring to books that I really liked, or I mean, just my wife and I took an anniversary trip down to Ashland to see the Shakespeare Festival last year. Something I learned about as a kid in high school. That was the first time I read Shakespeare. Yeah, it just enriches life. I mean, life could be all spreadsheets and taxes and stuff like that, but if you have kind of that foundation of some really neat, good literature and mathematics and logic and some of those kind of traditional subject areas, I just find that I don't know, it makes me I think it makes me more interesting. It makes me more interested in others. Is just have a broader view and outlook on life. It's hard to measure, but it's there.
Well, it's such a lost art, I would say, just such a lost value within society right now is that enrichment, is that cultural appreciation and that deeper knowledge. We have a fast-paced society that doesn't spend as much time pausing or looking back and reflecting or writing, or the list goes on and on. Okay, rapid fire questions. These ones are brought to us by another Saxon graduate, Matt Cox, who's an '08 graduate. He owns a company called Saucetown Properties. And these are just rapid fire questions as we close. So, favorite place you've ever traveled?
Uh, um, Austria,
It's great. Favorite place to eat when you're in Salem?
Wallery's Pizza, West Salem.
Hard to
Not
beat.
no hesitation.
No, there wasn't. And we've had Paddington's named with a Wallery shout out, but that competition can be real, although I think Wallery's may still win out right now. Yeah. Favorite book you've ever read?
Oh, favorite book I've ever read. I'll tell you my favorite recent book. I read a
There it is.
biography of you. I've read a biography of Ulysses Grant, which I absolutely loved. Totally surprised me. Fascinating, amazingly inspiring man. And I love Civil War history, so it was great.
Perfect. If you're firing up your podcast, which one are you most excited as a new drop for the week?
Oh, that's easy. The rest is history. It's a history podcast I listen to religiously. In fact, last night they just dropped their latest, and I finished it within probably 2 hours of them dropping it.
Are you listen at a certain speed, or do you
Just regular.
is it
Oh yeah,
just
I want to savor it. I like
yeah,
to savor
yeah,
it.
yeah. That's good. Who else should we interview?
Gosh.
Saxon
Well,
graduate. Yeah. Who should we grab?
um, I mean, all the folks on the thread, so that knocks a big chunk off. Uh, it, what is her last name? Erin McKibben and Claire Hudkins were both friends and are both, but they both have different last names now. And I can't, Erin Grady, that's her last name,
Oh
Erin
yeah, yeah.
Grady. And she was ubiquitous. She's prolific, social butterfly. Everyone liked her. Claire was the same way. Claire's now, and she became got a doctorate in opera singing and performance and teaches, I think, at Western Oregon. And I'm not sure what Erin does, but I'm sure that she's the life of the party wherever she shows up.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, yeah, I think those
Yeah.
are two
Those are two
Good.
solid ones.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's see. Last one for you. Any other shout outs you want to give? Any other thanks? Anything? Anyone else come to mind?
Gosh, Soren Sorensen, great coach, fun guys. Still think about him often.
Just ran into him
Um,
the other day.
oh, that's fun. That's neat. Micah Tiffin, always a fun, energetic, super neat guy. I already mentioned Bert Canner. Um, Miss, oh gosh, is it Barris? Pharis, I believe. She was, I'm sure she's long since retired. Phenomenal math teacher, and she put up with a lot of crap for me, but she was very patient, really fun. Mr. Hoffert, another one that everyone loved. I think his nickname was Pistol Pete. Really neat guy. We had a lot of great teachers. I really have good memories of nearly all of them.
Love it. Love it. Hey, is that your diploma behind you on the top of the cabinet there?
It is actually right. I don't know if this is what you're referring to, but yes,
Is
right
that the
here.
one? South
That
Salem
is
High
it.
School?
There you
We
go.
recognize it. Hasn't changed. There it is. Proof that you were eligible to be on this podcast in the spotlight. Yeah, Adam, we appreciate you, man. Thank you for your time today. Thank you for being so generous with your Saxon experiences and
You bet.
memories. You are part of our lore here and certainly worthy of the spotlight. Thanks so much
bet.
for jumping on.
All right. Thank you so much.
That does it for our conversation with Adam. Thanks so much to him for joining in. Thanks for you for listening. And thanks so much to Saucetown Properties, Matt Cox over there, and Saxon Success Fund, who are doing some amazing things for our Saxon community. Stay tuned next week. We've got another great one coming. Have a good week and go Saxons.